Alright, this video is going to be mainly about two things. Oh, the first one is Pascal's wager, and the second one is what exactly made me become an atheist. Not why I am, but what made me become one. Alright, the whole Pascal's wager thing, it got me thinking, because one of my friends from physics happens to be a Christian who's also a creationist, asked me, well, what if you're wrong? And of course I said, well, what if you're wrong? What about if, like, out of the thousands of other gods that you deny, you happen to be wrong, and those you end up getting tortured forever in their specific torture room? And then he said, well, I have to go by faith that mine is correct. Well, I mean, I don't have to go by faith to think that there's not a God. I've talked about this before. Just to go by the same thing as saying I don't have to go by faith to think that there's not something I haven't thought about. There's plenty of things I haven't thought about that I don't have to have faith that don't exist, simply because I haven't thought about them. That's the non-theist point of view. I'm atheist in respect to all the supposed gods. When it really comes down to it, then he asked me, well, what if you are wrong and I am right? Which goes a little bit further than saying what if you're wrong. Well, then I had to say, well, then I'll burn in hell forever. And he said, well, how can you be okay with that? Well, I'm not okay with it in the sense that I think it's wrong that I should be tortured forever. But how can you be okay with the fact that if you're wrong, then you would end up being tortured in their specific torture room forever? Then that would mean that you would have to believe in, I don't know, every god to be safe. But at the same time, if these gods are jealous, and they all exist, or just a few of them, or even just one, and you get it wrong, then you're gonna end up being tortured in that specific. Even if you get one wrong, you're still going to be tortured because you worshipped all the others, and they're all jealous. So I mean, that's Pascal's wager in a nutshell. That's basically it, and it's a scare tactic, and it's not a good one for an argument. But I answered that one anyways, because I mean it was a genuine question by him. It wasn't some ply that a lot of creationists or believers try and use to make some other point that is based off of that fallacy. It was just a question. So the other thing I wanted to touch on was some of the things that made me become an atheist. And when I say made me become an atheist, I don't really have a choice in the matter of becoming an atheist. When I see certain things and I note them and I look at them, I almost have to say to myself, well, this seems completely ridiculous. When someone walks up to you and says 1 + 1 is 3, it seems completely really ridiculous. That's in the same respect. There's two parts to what actually made me become an atheist. The first one is the science part. Actually, I'll take it back. There's three parts. There's the science, the testing, the noticing things, the observations, the observation that I have non-experience, that every experience I ever thought I had, I could attribute to something real. And you may say God works through these experiences. Well, there's no reason to say that. There's no reason for you to say that other than you trying to say God is something that else, like you were saying that, well, God is love, or God is this, or God is that. Sure, fine. If someone said a string was their god, I would believe in that god, because there, I can, for one, I can see it. For two, I can touch it. I can do all these things, and that string exists. It's not that that would actually be a god in any sense. They're just naming it that. That's semantic. That's just words. And words lose value and meaning when you start placing them on everything. And God loses value and meaning the more science comes up with things, and the more gaps. In respect to that, we do find more gaps the more stuff we end up knowing. So that puts a lot more places for people to try and shove their God in. But it also shows that, well, everything that they thought their God was originally is probably no longer there, because we picked it apart piece by piece. So, and then the second part is history of the religions, or history of specifically Christianity, and then before Christianity, the Judaism, and then before that, the what was it, the Yungits or something, I think, and their god El or whatever, and then all these other noted strange little myths that come from some Gnostic faiths and whatnot, like the Sophia thing that she created, the Diamond Urge, that some people or some texts say was called Yahweh, which would be a malevolent evil spirit that created the natural world, supposedly. That's what it actually says in that myth. Such things as that. That's one of the many things in the history thing that completely destroyed my faith, my religion, whatever. Also because it's only about 6,000 years old, and I know that it's been around a lot longer. Everything's been around a lot longer than that. The religion itself of I think the Jewish faith has only been around for about 6,000 years. I may be wrong on that, but that's just going by what I learned in my AP World History class, which was very good, by the way. They taught me a lot of things about origins of religions. Very good class. My piece goes out to Mr. Doss and or Coach Doss at Boswell High, Fort Worth. It's an awesome class. But the third thing is morality. All the things I noted in religion, in just about every religion, and especially in a lot in just looking at the Bible, a lot of these things are immoral. So many of them, and I'm going to make a video probably next containing, I think, 4 pages worth of immoral texts and the stuff that they condone. And I'm not even going to read off what they say, like these individual scriptures. I'm just going to read off the name of the scriptures. You guys can go look them up yourself. But yeah, just noting how evil these gods seem. I don't like that. So that's another reason I don't think they exist. I think that people exist and they use them to do those things, and that's what's really sad. So that should answer a few questions. I'll just go on about my business. Blah 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 blah. Elton John. Okay. Anyways, justinatorator out, people. Goodbye. Adios. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Can't think of another language off the top of my head. Ciao. No, it's still German and slightly, it's also Italian. Hallelujah.